Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all having a great Friday and looking forward to the weekend. Newcastle take on Crystal Palace tomorrow at St James's Park, and Eddie Howe has done his pre-match press conference this morning. I'm not going to talk too much about the game. I'll be back tomorrow with my pre-match chat, vlog of the game, instant reaction. So if you want to see all of that tomorrow, be sure to subscribe to the channel, get those notifications on so you get notified when I post a video. Instead, we are going to talk about Newcastle United's summer window. The deadline day, Eddie Howe was asked this morning quite a lot about transfers, more about transfers I would say than the game tomorrow, which is expected because Newcastle did go out and spend money this summer. We brought in our record transfer fee for Alexander Isak, a £63 million player who already scored on his debut. And Eddie Howe has said that Newcastle are already making moves and looking into signings for the January window. Which is mad, and it's great to hear that we are really on the ball. We're going to talk about the summer window in general, so let me know your thoughts down below. I have to say, it's the most excited I've been in a Newcastle summer transfer window in a very long time. We went out, we smashed our transfer record fee, and yes, I will say that deadline day was obviously quiet. Nothing really happened in terms of players coming in. We did move some players out that I do also want to talk a little bit about, especially Dubravka and kind of what our plan is going forward. And Eddie Howe was asked, kind of what went on in the dying hours of deadline day, and he kind of said that we were working pretty much all the way till the end, and that there was deals there that we'd hope to maybe get over the line, but couldn't quite. So as I say, he sounded a little bit, well, he's a positive guy, and I do think we've had a good window, a great window. We went out, we signed the striker that we wanted, we signed a very good striker that we wanted, we strengthened at the back through Botman, we brought in that goalkeeping competition in Pope, which hasn't quite worked out that way now that Dubravka's gone, and we brought in Target, the left back who we'd already had on loan and was a great player. So 4 players coming in through the door there. I would say that it's a solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Let me know your score down below out of 10. I think what if we could have maybe brought in a winger or a centre mid, that would have rounded it up. I think it would have. And it's not even that we necessarily needed to go out and bring in like the perfect player. It was just in terms of squad depth and what we could just add to the squad. And I know that Eddie Howe has got his list, and Eddie Howe wanted to make sure that we brought in the right players. And it's the way to do it. It is the way to do it. And I will say it, Eddie Howe has spoken a lot about the evolution, not the revolution. It's to slowly but surely evolve this club, make small changes, and not try and do everything overnight. And having said that, we have still spent 220 million this calendar year. So, although deadline day may have been a bit like, could we not have just got maybe 1 or 2, either a loan player, or could we have just got somebody else in? I've got a feeling that the João Pedro one is one of the deals that I think Eddie Howe may have been slightly disappointed that we were unable to get that one over the line. I mean, we did go out. I think the João Pedro one was stuttering, and we were running out of time, which I think did egg us on to go, right, let's just go and get the Isak one. It's there, it's available, it costs a lot more, but we can get it done. I still think Newcastle wanted João Pedro, and not because we needed more striker strength up front, but because he can play right, left, and he could have been a bit more versatile for us, and as a young upcoming player. And I mean, if you saw him play the other night, you know exactly why Newcastle were interested in that guy. So I think that's one that was a little bit unfortunate to not get through after deals had been agreed, and then it still fell through. And then you can talk about some of the loan players that were being linked with as well. We have seen players go out on loan this summer window, and that was something that seemingly Newcastle spoke about quite a lot in the summer window, or that was one of the things that Newcastle were going to do this window to try and keep the spend down. Can we get a loan? We actually ended up not getting anyone in on loan, which surprised me because, as I say, that seemed to be the thing that Newcastle spoke about quite well, I say Newcastle. It was one of the things that seemingly was coming out from a lot of reports, and the way that Eddie Howe spoke in terms of after we'd signed Isak especially, was we may now look at the loan options, we may now go down that route. And that kind of made me think that we had some stuff maybe ready to go, but it didn't turn out to be the case. But as I say, am I pleased with this summer window? Yes, of course I am. We've gone out and brought in some very, very good players. And although I think the only thing that could be a worry is the squad depth. But let's talk about the players that we've let go. Dubravka's obviously gone now, which is a shame. As I say, the point of bringing Pope in was to create competition, but he wanted to go. But we've also let go of Clark, Hayden, Hendrick, Matty Longstaff on loan, Gale, Fernandez. So that's 7 players we've let go out the door. And as we talk about evolution, not revolution, you could say, well, Rob, how much game time is Richie going to get? How much game time is Dummett going to get? How much game time is whoever going to get? And you're probably right, but I think Eddie Howe's trying to do it the right way. And again, we have spent 220 million. So it sounds like I'm saying that we haven't, but we have. We have gone out and spent, and yes, I think it's 8 players. So Pope, Botman, Target, Isak. Then in January, Trippier, Burn, Bruno, Wood. 8 players who, well, as I say, possibly not Wood, but otherwise have all walked into the first team. You know, we haven't just signed players because we want to bulk up the numbers. We've signed players that we want to start, want to challenge, and want to improve our side. And I think that was a big thing for Eddie Howe this summer window, was that we weren't going to go out and just buy somebody because it fills up the squad. So there's 2 different viewpoints there, because as I say, my viewpoint was a little bit, I felt like we could have done with some bulking up the squad, but it comes with a risk. If you go out and just buy anyone and just bring them in and just see what happens, and I don't really want to talk about other clubs necessarily, but I will mention Nottingham Forest. They've obviously gone out and brought in 20 players. And if Steve Cooper, who for me I think is a great manager, can get those guys working together, get the cohesion, get everybody working, it could work out perfectly. But it could also not. And I think that's exactly what Eddie Howe wanted to avoid, is the potential of just kind of doing whatever. So the strategy has been there from the start. We knew what we were going to try and do this summer, and it was never going to be to go out and buy millions of new players. The strategy was always going to be bring in the players that we want to bring in. Botman was clearly one we wanted to bring in. Eddie Howe's had his eyes on a goalie for a long time, so Pope was a good one. And then, as I say, Isak has already shown his class in the 1 game he's played. So for me, it's an 8 out of 10. And then you look at the fact that Eddie Howe is already talking about January window. And that's what I mean. Just because we've spent the money, maybe haven't brought in as many bodies as we would like to see. And as I say, getting loan players isn't costing us. It would have just bumped the squad. So I think that's possibly where I am. I'm very happy with what we've done. We've clearly got a very good squad. And again, Lascelles against Liverpool, and I know we're lost and I don't want to talk about that too much either, but without Wilson, without Bruno, without Maxi, Longstaff and Lascelles are players that have had a bit of stick and came in and played well. You know, so I think Eddie Howe has definitely got confidence in the players that he's kept in the squad this summer. He's let go of the ones that he didn't, like Fernandez, like Clark, Matty Longstaff going out very late in the window. He's trying to keep that core group. It doesn't mean that in January or next summer we can't start to look at players like, who I already mentioned, Richie, final year, Dummett, final year, Manquillo. You know, those are the guys who we could well see move on next. We don't have to do it all right now. We can spread it out. And as much as we would like to succeed as quickly as possible, it's better to take our time and get it right than rush it all in one go and get it wrong. And I will repeat, we have spent 220 million, which I would have never... Had you shown me, if on takeover day, we're all stood outside, imagine if there was a big banner that said, "We promise you we will spend 200 million within this year." I wouldn't have believed it. I would have hoped that it was true, but to actually see it happen, and I know we're very concentrated on transfers right now, but let's also not forget everything that's going on behind the scenes at the club as well. The players we're bringing in, Dan Ashworth coming in, the new CEO, Darren Eales. There's talks on the training ground. There's St James's Park being done up, so I don't want to distract from the fact that I'm sitting here talking about transfers as well. There is so much good going on at Newcastle, and I think that's as big a thing as any for me. That is huge. So yes, I think if we could have maybe just brought in one or two little extras coming at the end of the window, that would have just solidified a 10 out of 10 for me. But I think the way it stands and the players we've brought in, very good players, broke the transfer record. It's an 8 minimum for me. And then let's not forget everything else that's going on at the club right now. All right, guys, that's my little review of the window. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. Very exciting to hear. It's nice to hear Eddie Howe come out and just speak very openly and truthfully on the fact that he himself seemed disappointed that he was unable to get a few things over the line. So let's not sit here and go, we weren't trying. We were clearly trying up until the very end to get something done. And the deadline day was mad. It was pretty much like a domino effect. You had someone else had to move before someone else could go. And that's pretty much what it sounded like with us. Some of the players that we were targeting couldn't be let go of by the club unless they brought in a replacement, and we just kind of got stuck in that mosh pit. But that's why Eddie Howe, and I say excitingly, is already talking about the January window. Can we get stuff lined up already before we even get there? And I'll be interested to see what we do in January, because honestly, I didn't expect us to go out and spend as much we did this summer. After the January we had, I actually didn't think we would spend as much as we had, so over the moon that we did. It'll be the same in January. I'll be surprised if we do go out and really go for it again. But with this club at the moment, you just don't know. But it's great. We're enjoying the ride. And as I say, 13 matches between now and the World Cup and the January window. So, I mean, it's going to fly by, and we're going to be back talking about transfers again. So I'm looking forward to the break, to be honest, because there's been a lot going on. All right, guys, thanks for watching, as always. Let me know your rating out of 10 for the Newcastle transfer window. And then I'll say I'll be back. Well, I'm actually going to be back later on. I'm doing a full predictions video for all the Premier League games. So be sure to look out for that on the channel. And then, as I say, subscribe if you haven't already. Big red button. Loads of videos tomorrow for the Palace game, where we will hopefully pick up 3 points. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.